tremendous news as predicted, as we've been saying in previous episodes. The feds came out and said they're going to lower rates.
Welcome back to season 2 of the People's Real Estate Podcast.
I know we were on hiatus.
I know you guys have been wondering where we've been at.
Yeah, a couple of people reached out.
We've been working on some big things. We've been busy, and exactly what our biggest fear came true. We got too busy for the podcast.
Hey, let's be real.
That's exactly what happened. But those are good problems because, look, we came back in higher definition. We came back with a brand new host.
Hey, we back, baby. Hey, some people were like, "Hey, man, you guys stop with the podcast?"
Yeah,
never, baby, never.
Our biggest fear just came true. You know, we got busy and we kind of had to put the podcast on rest for a little bit. But we're back, better than ever. Yeah. So stay tuned. Subscribe. Drop a comment. Let us know what you guys want to see on the upcoming episodes.
People were like, "Hey, what happened? You're not doing the podcast." Look, the hiatus was we got busy.
Yes.
The hiatus was we got busy, and you got to go with the bread and butter. What makes money, right? That's selling houses. So, but because of that, we have a lot more content now, a lot of things to talk about, and just shout out for the support, man. Because of the support and stuff, we've been able to make little upgrades here.
Shout out to everybody that has been looking at the podcast, listening to it. I told you, I share the stories with Renee all the time where I'm like, I just had a friend of mine tell me the other day, he was like, "Yo, what happened with the podcast?"
I know, man.
I used to like watch it faithfully. I'm like, yeah, we've been busy, bro, but we're still making them, and we're actually, funny enough, I told him, I was like, we're filming this Friday coming up. And so he was like, "Oh, that's dope." So yeah, shout out to you guys.
Appreciate it.
You guys watching the podcast and listening to it, and share it. And leave us a comment, leave us a review. What are we doing good? What do you like? What don't you like? All of that helps. We read the comments.
I hear you, man. So what's up, man? What do we got for the people?
All right, so we got a couple of things to talk about on this episode. We're gonna talk about a little bit good news. Interest rates dropped a little bit.
Let's go.
So we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to talk about, obviously, the elephant in the room, the NAR lawsuit. Mm-hmm. If you've been living under a rock or you haven't heard, we're going to talk a little bit about that and kind of give you what you should know and the things to look out for and the changes that are to come or are already happening right now. And to end it all, we are going to announce our newsletter. Yeah. We've been working hard on this, and I know that this is, it's just a newsletter, but stick around. You'll see that our newsletter is going to be a little bit different.
So let's talk about the rates, and then this segment is brought to you by Embrace Home Loans.
Yes.
You guys need an estimate. If you're looking for different programs, just look them up. EmbraceHomeLoans.com. Good company, man.
Yep. Shout out to Embrace Home Loans. And so in talking about that, what does that mean, right, Renee? Break down a little bit what this change in interest rates. And for the people that don't know, tell us what the interest rate was not too long ago.
Well, I mean, it depends. If you're tracking it, let's just say about a year ago, we were in the high sevens. Right?
Yes, I remember.
High sevens, man. It's scary territory for some people.
Yes.
But hey, man, some people are already refinancing. Do you know that?
Yeah.
Because some people got, depending on people's credit and stuff like that, if they're a higher risk, they're going to get a higher rate. So some people did dive into like the low 8s and things like that.
Yeah.
Now that it's low 6s, that's 2 points.
Yeah.
They're saving,
I have a personal story. I had a friend of mine that I helped him buy last year. Mm-hmm. And he hit me up on Instagram and he said, "Hey, bro, I'm hearing the interest rates are about to drop again." And, I've been talking to Alvin, the lender that he got the loan with. And he got a quote from him and to see how much, if he were to refinance, how much his payment would go down. It would go down about $200. Mm-hmm. But his whole goal was to buy another house. Mm. So he was like, he weighed his options. He said, "I think I'm going to just keep this one and just put the 10 or 20% down on the other house." So he could have leveraged the house that he owns if he were to refinance it, but it's like the $200 difference is not good enough for me.
And that's what I hope, for our audience and stuff. I understand, it's not everyone. We have clients that, buy homes like, every other month and stuff like that. But we understand that, most clients, they're only going to see us, once in a while. But I want our clients, our past clients to consider us resources. Like,
Yeah.
like what you just said, call the loan officer up and say, hey, look, in this hypothetical scenario, if I were to do this and this, what would this look like? It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
There's no commitment. You're just trying to figure out information for the future. But yeah, you could always call a loan officer up, give them the different scenarios that you're trying to go through and see what it would look like. They could project forward.
Yeah.
Or they could, at the end of the day, they could give you some good advice.
So let me ask you this, right? Do you think that the fact that for the people at home thinking, what does this mean, Renee? Interest rates dropped. Okay, does this mean that houses are going to get cheaper now?
No. So look, timing the market is a no-no. Anybody that you talk to that's been in this a while, they'll tell you, look, but there are signs, right? Like right now, we have the feds coming up and say, hey, we're lowering rates. So it's going to happen. How fast? I don't know. How would the market adjust? I don't know. I look at it like, instead of trying to time it, find that sweet spot, right? So if you go talk to a loan officer right now, and with the property you want, they're telling you, example, it's $3,500 a month, right? And right now rates are at 6.3. All right.
Yeah.
So you can say, look, I can't do $3,500 a month, right? But I can do $3,100 a month. Hey, what would the rate need to be for me to pay $3,100 a month? The loan officer say, hey, the rate needs to be X, right? Now you can't time out the market, but you can get close, right?
Yeah.
Meaning, once you see, if the loan officer said, hey, look, it needs to be at a 5.7, okay, then you need to be on the lookout for a 5.7 rate. You know what I mean? So
if you have the extra cash, right, you can buy some points.
There you go. So it gives you that flexibility. Yeah, timing out the market is going to be difficult, but like I said, you can speak to professionals and kind of get little nuggets, little tips, and project forward. So in the future, once it does hit the rate that'll give you the outcome you want monthly, then you can go for it.
Yeah. So just to recap, I mean, a lower interest rate gives you more purchasing power, and it helps a little bit with the monthly payment. So yeah. So just that's just what you should be on the lookout. And like Renee said, just gathering the information necessary to make a educated choice is the best thing you can do. Because most people, and we speak about this, they're so quick to disqualify themselves. Like, oh, I'm not ready.
Yeah.
But they haven't spoken with a loan officer. They haven't spoken with a realtor. They haven't even looked up any YouTube real estate podcast that educate you on home buying, but so that's where it starts, is educating yourself first. And then it's up to you. Like, okay, I'm in a position, but I just don't feel like I want to do it yet.
Also, you understand, man, you're in a competition with other people, right? For the same homes in the areas that you want, right? So like Carlos asked a good question. Hey, does this make prices go up? Well, what's going to happen is when money becomes cheaper to borrow, right? Like right now, me making a $10,000 jump, I might be like, oof, that's a lot. A $20,000 jump, oof, that kind of hurts monthly. But if the rate's a lot lower, right, I could say, okay, yeah, we can go up 10,000, 20,000, and that's kind of what we saw, post pandemic. Happening, people just, kind of becoming a bidding war, when we were in those 3% rates and things like that, because going up $40,000 for the house I love, might mean another $200 a month for me.
Yeah.
I could do that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of, what happens. It's basically like the buyers push the prices up because they start competing when money becomes very affordable to borrow,
Yeah. I mean, that's what's going to happen that's what the Fed doesn't want. They don't want to lower it drastically because
the inflation goes back up.
Home prices are going to go skyrocketing again. So it's more of like they got to ease their way in. Yeah, like, So this is where the person, if you have plans of buying right now within, let's say, the next 12 months.
Yeah.
I'd say right now is the time for you to start at least gathering all the information, getting yourself together, and for that way, when you feel like it's the right time to jump in the market, that all your ducks are in a row, and then you can just take action.
Because that's the sad.
Or if it comes down to them, the right house coming on the market, right?
Yeah.
At least you already know you're pre-approved. You already know you have everything. All you gotta go is say, hey, Renee, let's go look at this house, write the offer.
Got it, man.
That's it.
Like I was about to say, one of the saddest things, Carlos, you know how it is when someone comes to us and they're excited, man. They have plans. They saved up all this money. They paid off X card. you know, this and that. And then we look at the credit report, or the loan officer pulls it up, and they're like, but you have this and this.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, but I didn't think that would affect me.
Yeah.
Or, oh man, I thought I had paid that off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like, man, just to see the, like, you know, just, how can I put it? Just the sadness, man, that comes in their face. Like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to do this.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
I'll give an example, right? Without being putting the person stuff out there, but we had a listing. It was like a 2-ended transaction. We had a guy that came in. He wanted to sell his house and go buy another one, so he came in for pre-approval, and he didn't really know what was on the credit. And we ended up finding out that one of his children used there was student loans under the mother's name.
Yeah.
So
what happened?
That
was
affected.
They knew about it, right?
Yeah.
Like, so the mom co-signed for the student loans.
Okay, that's what it was.
And then
yeah.
you know what? It's crazy. It was only $80 a month.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they made the
late payments.
Well, they made the child, the younger guy, responsible for the loans, and the mom and the dad were like, okay, well, it's $80. He's taking care of it.
Yeah.
The younger child, or the child finds himself. I say child, but it's a grown person.
It's a grown man.
Yeah, but their son or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe fell behind.
Yeah.
Who knows? Didn't see it as a priority. Sometimes younger people don't really know how credit works, and they think, oh, it's just $80.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Oh, I'm only 2 months late.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Those 2 months will kill you.
Well, here we go. They can't make the moves they wanted to now.
Yeah.
Because the son missed I think 2 or 3 of those $80 payments. It's just $80, folks. That's not the point.
Yeah.
Right? So affected her credit to the point where obviously, we can work with them. They can get back on track, right? But for right now, it sets them back 3 to 6 months from them being able to do what they want.
And that could be the difference between them, really taking advantage of everything that's about to happen.
And the parents, they found out right there at the table. They're like, whoa, like, man, like.
So just imagine if they would have waited last minute.
Yeah.
Right.
Or they really had to move.
Yeah. Or they had to move. Yeah.
This is someone that they're trying to make, they're trying to make a move right now. They have a lot of equity in their home. He wants to buy a cheaper home a little further away. Right, and then that way the payment's lower, give a good down payment, and pocket some of that money.
Yeah.
So that is a great transition right now for someone, for people that
it's just gonna depend on what you're trying to achieve, But there's a lot of people, like you said, sitting on a lot of equity, and if you don't know how to leverage that equity, maybe to buy a second property, or maybe to cash out and buy something else, and just to pocket some of the money, like Renee said,
pay some bills, make some
pay some bills,
yeah.
Go do something with it. Yeah. There's always those options, and talking to the right people will help you.
I'm coming across that right now. It's like it's people that own homes back when the market crashed in 08, 06, and it's like they owned at that time, and they were sitting on a lot of equity.
Yeah.
Right. And they didn't get the cash out. Market crashed on them.
Yeah.
Equity's gone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now I'm seeing a lot of people that these are the second or third homes. They're like, hey, Renee, I feel like this is kind of like the height of the market. I want to get my equity out right now, because you never know what's going to happen.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Nobody's predicting a market crash or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But you just don't know what's about to happen.
Exactly.
That was my point.
Yeah.
So I find this like kind of like almost like fear in people. They're like, this feels like the right time, kind of. You know what I mean?
So I don't know if you want to touch on this, but just briefly, for the people at home that are in that situation, that, okay, Renee, I know that I have a lot of equity in my home, but I don't want to sell it. Is there any other way that I can tap into my home equity and just, what can I do? What can I do?
It all depends what you want to accomplish.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It all depends. Like, if it's like, hey, I have a lot of equity, I want to sell and do things with the equity. Okay, that's one, right? Or like you said, I don't want to sell. But I do want to acquire another property, or I want to do this. There's different kind of programs, loans and stuff like that. HELOCs,
Okay.
You could always, refi. There's all kinds of stuff, right?
Okay.
So that's going to come down to what they want to accomplish.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why you should talk to, the right people.
Yeah.
So a lender or bank or a realtor,
Yeah.
It just depends on what you're trying to achieve. So moving forward, right? The next segment, which is brought to you guys by KTO Title, we are going to be covering the NAR lawsuit briefly. What happened? Long story short, all of us realtors got sued. We all got sued. That's what happened. That's what happened. It was all about, it surrounding how realtors get paid commissions and how it's displayed on our multiple listing service, our MLSs. So yeah, Renee, what happened? We got sued, bro. Let's
so
talk
we've had
about
other
it.
episodes talking about it. Now it's go time. As of August 17th, the new new rules have been implemented everywhere in the United States. At the end of the day, it's going to affect both sides, mostly buyers, in my opinion, because what this does is, at the end of the day, they're decoupling commissions, right?
Yeah.
The buyer's going to pay for their commission, the seller's going to pay for their commission, right? So that's in a nutshell, that's what's happening.
And just to for the people at home, right, I'm gonna give you guys the internet definition of what happened, what the lawsuit is about. So it's the NAR, which stands for the National Association of Realtors, settled a class action lawsuit for $418 million in May 2024. The lawsuit alleged that the NAR's compensation rules violated antitrust laws by introducing competition and inflating commission prices. The settlement includes several changes to the industry, including no compensation offers on the MLS, and the way buyer representation agreements are written. Okay, and so like Renee was saying, like the way realtors get paid has changed, and the way our commissions are displayed on MLS have changed.
So basically, for a buyer now, you're going to have an agreement in place with your realtor in writing, sign, kind of before you can move forward.
Before you even go look at a property.
Yeah. It has to be, because you need to know what role the realtor, your buyer's agent is going to play now, what your responsibilities are. And now you do have, it's legit, you have the responsibility of your buyer's agent commission falls on you. That's what it is now. Now, that buyer's agent might go out there in the market and find a seller that's actually paying a commission, right?
Yeah.
And that might be part of the commission, and you're responsible for the other part. That might be the whole commission, and you're not responsible for any commission for your buyer's agent. But in a nutshell, for the buyer, you're responsible for their commission now. As agents now, how does that affect us? I understand that now. So now it's part of a conversation, because honestly, an easy way to pitch buyers was, hey, look, you don't have to pay me. Right, the seller's gonna pay me, right, and then a lot of buyers were like, okay, well, that's cool, what I mean. But now it's gonna be like more like, hey, you have to pay me, and we got to show our value. Like, what are you paying for, right? And that's why a lot of realtors are like, oh, they're freaking out. But at the end of the day, if you're good at your job and you know how to convey that, you know how to articulate that, clients are gonna see value in that, right? And like I told you, I was taught, cost is only a problem in the absence of value, right? But that's what it's coming down to. And then on the seller side, what it is, it's, you're not boxed in by saying, hey, you automatically have to pay the buyer's agent, and this is the exact amount you have to pay them. Now, you as a seller, that's negotiable. We've been in a couple of listing appointments now where we've had to explain these rules, explain these things to sellers. At the end of the day, they're like, oh, so I don't have to pay? Correct. You do not have to pay or advertise a commission, right?
But we also have to explain how that could not be beneficial to you. Because as we all may know, like, we work with buyers and sellers, so sometimes buyers struggle with even having enough money for a down payment, or to have down payment and closing costs. And now here this lawsuit comes, and now you're gonna have to probably pay for your representation, aka your realtor. And that's something that a lot of people probably won't be expecting. They're just gonna be like, what do you mean I gotta pay you?
Well, I mean, this could go any other ways. We've had hundreds of conversations about this, but Kim saw it. We were at the table, and the guy said, well, I don't have to pay. I said, no, sir, you don't have to offer a commission, right? Now, here's the thing, though. I'm like, there's Kim. She's a buyer's agent, right? When she's working with her buyer, she's gonna look. She's going to find out, hey, how am I getting paid here? And if she calls me up, and I say, no, my seller's not offering commission, right? Now that's a conversation Kim has to have with her buyer, right? And, if she's a good agent, this is a conversation that you've already had up front, right? And she goes back to her client and says, okay, this is one of those situations where they're not paying a commission. Like I told you, this is what I charge, so this would fall on you.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue? Do you want to go see this house? Do you want to pursue this opportunity?
It's going to depend on how bad your clients love that house.
Yeah. And then the buyer could say, no, Kim, look, as you explain this to me, I can't swing that. I can't afford that. Let's just look at other options.
Let's just look at houses that do pay a commission.
You know what I mean? So that, and then, the seller's like, oh, okay, yeah, we don't want that. Yeah. I mean, if someone has a relationship with a buyer, they're qualified, they've been vetted, right?
Yeah.
We want to compensate this agent for bringing us this solid, buyer.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then, so, we talked to him and he says, well, does it have to be? I said, no, sir. Like, it's a negotiable amount, right? So we're going to be able to negotiate. I'm like, that's going to depend. What kind of offer are they bringing you?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a really good, solid, tight offer with great financing, great terms? Right, then you're probably gonna want to compensate this guy, or lady at what they're asking for, because that's the thing now. If there is no commission being offered, we can ask for it, right? Or in our offers, we can say, hey, this would be the commission, and it's all the negotiation now.
Yeah, it's all, and it always has been a negotiation.
Yes,
let's call it what it is. It's just that it wasn't presented as well as it should have been by other realtors.
Our fault.
Yeah, it really is. Okay, but this, like Renee said, is gonna filter out the people who got in this business to really crush it and make it and be and provide value and bring value to the market from the people who are just here to try to collect easy money or
I mean we've seen it. I mean, anybody can look up the statistics. It's a mass exodus of realtors in the last year. You know what I mean? And that's why, and a lot of realtors are thinking of leaving now because they don't know how to charge people.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Ever since this lawsuit, and I know it hasn't been a long time since these changes have been in effect, but I have yet to come across the problem of a seller not paying a commission.
Yeah.
The other day, I have a deal under contract right now that I got my seller 3% in closing help.
Still out there. Deals
it's still
are
out
always
there.
To be had,
it's still out there. Yeah. It's just gonna depend on how good is your realtor at negotiating. How come on, like. You got to show your value, like Renee said. And that's what it comes down to. So yeah, those are the most important things to really look out for. It's not a big deal. It is, but it's not. Like don't worry about it. Like
it's a conversation.
It's a conversation. It's always been a conversation. It's always going to be a negotiation. It's just for realtors out there, just sharpen your skills. Become better at what you do. If you really came in this business to crush it, all you gotta, it's just a wake up call. Come on, get better. That's it. That's it. Improve. But moving forward, right? Anything else are we missing?
Well, I mean, we kind of rambled on the buyer side.
On the seller side.
On the seller side, lower rates just means you're going to be able to do your moves now. Make those moves, because I understand sellers, they bought at a 4 or 5%. Rates are at 7. Why would I sell my house at a 4 rate to go into a 7 rate? So
what were they calling it? Sellers were locked,
like trapped.
Yeah, like trapped.
Yeah, you're trapped.
Like people, unless they really had to sell their home, people.
Los, we spoke to some sellers that absolutely, they can't stay in their house or their living situation, but they don't want to leave that $1,800 a month or $2,200 a month.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because now we're talking to them about $3,400 a month.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like, why would I do that? Yeah, I'm gonna have a fistful of cash and all this, but that doesn't make sense. So for sellers, it's all about timing. Trying to time it out like we were talking about. So I don't see prices going down, so sellers don't really need to worry about that, in my opinion. So sellers,
because we're still low on inventory, but it's slowly getting up though.
It's
what we're covering, we're getting there, but
it's getting better.
So don't be afraid. Changes just mean better service. We're gonna get better.
Ultimately, it's better for the people.
Exactly.
Ultimately, yeah.
And if not, then we'll adjust. They'll make changes.
Yeah, you got it. Man.
It just depends how the public is gonna react.
But market is strong. You know what I mean? The market is strong though. So don't And then with the coming election,
it's always a good time to buy real estate.
Yeah.
Always. So moving forward, guys. just to close it all off. So we want to announce our brand new newsletter brought to you by Essentials Home Inspections. Shout out to Felipe. That's our guy. If you need a home inspection in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, hit up Essential Home Inspections and look, ask for Felipe. Felipe's a great guy. He's going to take care of you guys, and he does amazing work.
Little nugget, even if you don't use them, visit their website. They have a list of vendors. It's outstanding. Some of the top vendors in the area for other needs other than home inspection that they have connected with. So just a little tidbit.
Yes, amazing. And this segment is going to be
basically Kim.
It's basically Kim. This is Kim's segment because just before I let Kim do her thing. She did this. She worked on it on herself, and she worked hard on it. So Kim, what can people expect on the newsletter?
Okay, so this isn't your typical newsletter that you receive from every other agent where they pay a company to make it. This is actually made by me. Everything is made by me. It's pretty much, this newsletter is going to talk about the market updates, NAR updates, mortgage rate updates, a couple of home tips, and also some local businesses in Maryland. And these aren't just regular businesses that we chose online. These are businesses that we actually went to go eat, and we've had good experiences. So we are
and when you say business, Kim, you just mean where we would like to eat, right?
Yeah.
We basically,
businesses, restaurant.
Was that? Well, business.
No, you had it right.
This one's right. You had it right, but on this one is restaurants, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So man, Kim did an amazing job on this.
And the newsletter looks amazing. If you guys want to check it out, there's going to be a link in the description of this video of the podcast where you can sign up to get it. And it's gonna, like I said, it's not just regular real estate updates. We're gonna have we're gonna highlight restaurants you should check out, places and things you just be on the lookout,
and aware of
events that are going on in the local area.
If you're a past client or current client, don't worry, you're gonna get it. You're getting it automatically. But if you're not, if you just listen to the podcast and you haven't done business with us in the past and you want to take a look at the newsletter, you're welcome to do so as well.
Of course, yes. And
sorry to cut you off, Kim. You were saying
yes. What else, Kim?
Keep going on it.
Also, it's going to be showing our hold on, I don't know.
Like our listings?
Yeah. How do you say it? Like featured listings?
Yeah, like our featured listings and current listings and stuff like that. Or I guess it's probably just gonna be our best listing that month or something. I don't know. Yeah.
We're gonna have a section of it where it's listing of the month.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's call it that.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, man. So it's really neat. Like Kim said, if you guys have ever gotten newsletters from realtors, usually it's going to be a template. Like she said, someone that they paid, and it's going to give you, right now it's September, so it'll probably give you a recipe for pumpkin pie or something.
Yeah,
you know what
something
I mean?
holiday
Which
related.
is great, but you can look that up. You know what I'm saying? So we're trying to give you stuff that, you can't just automatically look up or perhaps you weren't aware of. So yeah, man, this is, we think, a great way to stay in touch with our clients.
Yeah, and keep you guys updated. See what on the changes that are going on in the industry. So
yeah, shout out to Kim because it's really good.
Shout out to Kim.
Thank you guys.
That's what's up, bro. Hey, man, season 2.
I'm excited.
We're kicking it off.
It's a banger.
We got a lot of stuff. New guests.
Let us know what you guys think of the quality of the video. We are trying out a new setup. Let us know what you guys think. We are going to change the whole studio. So
coming soon, guys.
Coming soon.
We'll
there's big changes coming. We're gonna revamp the whole studio. So just stay tuned and subscribe.
Man, appreciate the support.
Subscribe. Man. Show some love, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Peace.
See you.